So if a company is looking to start to develop a mentoring program, where should that starting point be?
I really think it starts off very basically with understanding what is mentoring before they start developing a program. I personally categorize mentoring into two basic categorizations, so to speak. One in being informal and then being formal. In either case, the activity could be a one-on-one or a group. For example, cross-functional teams could become a form of mentoring, of sharing information and getting people educated on the company's goals, values, or whatever might be necessary for somebody to learn. And a team suggests an ongoing process. And again, mentoring is an ongoing process. It isn't something you do just once. That's really important to differentiate. But when I think about formal mentors, when somebody is assigned a responsibility, so to speak, to help someone else. It might be a supervisor, it might be another colleague, but somebody who's actually told, well, your job assignment is to help this person. And that kind of mentoring is always useful and helpful. I think the most valuable kind of mentoring is the informal or natural mentor. Because natural mentors are people who really, they're interested in helping other people. They have a passion for that, and it comes naturally. That's the benefit I had in my career. In my career, I think I had two really good natural mentors, one at Veeder-Root and one at Loctite. They were just very passionate about what they did. Al Toback, I'm definitely a Toback-trained man. He was my natural mentor at Loctite. He taught me about the values of integrity and fairness and consistency and helped me develop those qualities, which I think helped me become more successful over time. In the trade association world, I think probably one of the best mentors I ever had and a professional resource. Now, when I started off, I really didn't know a whole lot about policies and how different companies did things. And so I would go to Gary Buffington. He used to be the executive director of SIDET and later on the executive director of IDA until his death. He helped me immensely. He didn't necessarily give me the answers to my questions, but Gary was always the person who could tell me where to go to get the answers. But I was blessed with many other natural mentors who were industrial colleagues, distributors, manufacturers, association leaders, people I just encountered at different association meetings. There was a couple of individuals I met when I went to my very first IDA association meeting when I was with Veeder-Root, and I had never been to one before, and I didn't know what to do. These two gentlemen went out of their way to help me and told me the ropes and what to do, and it really changed the way I looked at things and the way I started off, and it helped me right through my career. And they always followed up with me. It wasn't like they told me what to do and then walked away. They keep periodically checking to make sure I was doing what they suggested, and it was really great help. These were people who made differences in my career and helped me to broaden my horizons. They developed what I now call peripheral vision. They helped me to be able to see the whole picture. They helped me understand the value of gray instead of black and white. Doing business is often not black or white. It's often gray.
It sounds like it was a great opportunity for you to have these natural mentors by your side. So how can companies encourage this natural mentor relationship?
What companies need to do is really to set up an environment where people start doing things, maybe establish cross-functional teams or those types of advisory council environments where people might have the opportunity to emerge. I think there's a lot of natural mentors out there who are really there in the organization, but they don't have the opportunity to come forward. So if given the opportunity to foster that behavior, they may actually rise to the surface. I'm sure you've been in meetings before where there's no chairman assigned, and when you get there and certain people emerge as the leaders. Sometimes they aren't necessarily going to be the best mentors, perhaps, in the long term, but I think it gives an opportunity for people to come out and kind of shine, so to speak. And then those people could also be encouraged to help others, and that would be starting the natural mentoring process.
Resources are stretched for many companies right now, which may create some hesitation on their part to implement a formal program. What's your response to these companies? What kind of resources are actually required to develop mentoring programs?
I think that there's a misnomer that it does require some large monetary expenditure, and it really doesn't. It's encouraging interaction with people. A personal note on mentoring. I was the beneficiary, as I mentioned before, of numerous natural mentors. And then I made it my mission to pay it forward, mentoring many people at Henkel and in the industry. And when I retired, I started industrial distribution consulting so I could continue that process. That was just an activity I thought was useful. I think that most organizations probably have a few people in there that are potentially natural mentors. And it's just a matter of trying to set up the environment so they can do that. Let them know it's okay and encourage them to do it. Most of the time, natural mentors emerge on their own. I've done it all my life, and I didn't do it with intent of paying it forward. It's just something that, somebody helped me, so I help somebody else. And I enjoy watching other people succeed. Setting up that environment of like a team effort would help natural mentoring to emerge in an organization.
Well, now, I know you said that we have to separate mentoring and training, but is there any sort of basic training that companies can give to people who are kind of appearing as natural mentors for how to communicate?
Personally, I think kind of training that would be available might suggest encouragement, encouraging people to take the initiative to do that. Unfortunately, in this economy and this environment, people tend to be more self-interested, selfish with their time because they're just so busy. Encouraging people just to be helpful. And again, it's that building the team spirit in an organization that I think really helps. When I was at Loctite, that's the way the original company culture was. And over the years, I watched it evolve. And as the company became a larger corporation, a lot of that team spirit kind of tended to dissipate. But if you can encourage that to continue in some way, no matter what size the organization, natural mentors, I believe, will emerge. They enjoy doing it. And I think it helps everybody, benefits to the organization. The value of the people, the mentor increases as well as the recipient of the mentoring. I took a lot of personal satisfaction in watching people succeed. So I helped them and I pointed them in the right direction. And just sat back, so to speak, and watched them and see how they did. And when they had successes, I would congratulate them. And when they came back, or if they didn't, they had failures, they would come and talk to me about it, and we'd see what you could do differently. But that's why I said the mentoring process is an ongoing process. It isn't training. Training tends to be looked at as a training program. Mentoring is a process, and a process is ongoing. It's a lifetime mission.